back to my channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Cassidy and I am a flight attendant here in the United States. I am based out of Florida. This video is going to be different from my usual travel work vlogs because I am doing a video that is going to be a few things that you don't know about being a flight attendant. These are things that most people do not know about my job, and they're things that I get asked questions about all the time, literally all the time. So I'm going to talk about a couple different things. I thought this would be an interesting video to do. I'm freezing right now. I have a list of things that I'm going to talk about. If I think of anything else, maybe I'll make like a part 2 video. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is reserve life. When you first get hired with an airline, every airline does it differently, but you do have to be on reserve. Basically what that means is be on call. Like I said, every airline does it differently, but with the company that I work for, there was 3 reserve periods that you could choose from, and you're on call for 10 hours, and you have to have a phone, like you have to be able to be contacted. You have to pick up when they call you, and you have to go and do whatever it is that they say. They like own you. Reserve life is no joke. Like, oh my god, I don't miss being on reserve at all. I am not on reserve anymore. Once you get past that stage, however long that could be, depends on the airline, your seniority with the company, how big they are, how big the base is that you're at. There's a lot of different factors that go into it. I had to be on reserve for a whole year, and it was a lot. There were definitely times where I was like, do I really want this job? Is this really worth it? Everyone that I had talked to at the time who had been with the company for quite a few years, they were like, just get through reserve. I promise it gets better after reserve. Once you get a line is what it's called, and you can build your schedule how you want. There's so much more freedom and flexibility. Like, it's, I promise, just stick it through the hard parts. And I was like, okay. You gotta be on reserve for, like I said, any amount of time. It depends on the company and a lot of other factors. When you're on reserve, what they would do is they call you whenever to give you a trip. They could call you 5 hours in advance, but the minimum amount of time that they would give you is 2 hours to get to the airport. Your report time is what it's called. So they would call you, say, hey Cassidy, we have a 4-day trip for you. You are going to be doing 3 legs today, and you are gonna end up in Houston tonight. Then your other layovers are Boston and Baltimore. I made that up, but yeah, that's how it would go. And depending on when your report time is, you either have those minimum 2 hours or you have like more time. It all depends. It's always different. But then, you know where you're going, and you can start getting ready. When you're on reserve, you basically have to have your suitcase packed at all times. So what I did was I had like all my necessary stuff in there, and then I would just like swap out clothes after each trip and wash them, and obviously have like your uniform with you and everything washed and ready to go. So it's like literally just pick up and go. Also, I would meal prep and make food for the however many days I was on reserve for. So if I got called, I could pack my meals in my travel cooler and I would have them with me. Or if not, I didn't get used and I stayed at home, then I still had food to eat. That's another big thing that goes with the job that a lot of people don't know. But once you are off of reserve and you get what's called a line, you bid for schedules, reserve and when you have a line. But when you have a line, you basically get to build your trip a month in advance, however you want it. Schedules for each month are already set, and you look through all of the options and you bid for what you want based on your seniority is how you get your schedule. And then from there you can make it how you want it. So you can swap a trip with someone, kind of like if you swapped a work shift with someone. You can drop a trip if you want the days off, if there's enough other flight attendants on reserve as like backup. You can pick up extra trips and work overtime. There's so much flexibility and freedom with the job when you have a line. Like, it's crazy and it's awesome. That's a little bit about reserve life and scheduling. Trips can be from one day where you fly somewhere and you come back, it's called a turn, or trips can be up to 4 days. Sometimes, it's very rare, but sometimes there are 5-day trips. That's not a normal thing, but it has happened to me before, once or twice back when I was on reserve. The last day they just deadheaded me home. It wasn't like I was working a full 5th day. Yeah, I normally do 4-day trips. Sometimes I'll do 3-day trips as well, but usually I do 4-day trips because the longer the trips, the more hours that you are flying, the more money that you make. You gotta make that money, because just like everybody else, your girl's got bills to pay. That brings me to my next topic, pay. So pay. So we have an hourly rate that we get paid. It's set at one rate when you first start, and then every year it goes up. We only get paid for the time that we are in the air, basically. It's when they close that boarding door, block in, block out, and block in time. When they close the boarding door and they open the boarding door when you get to your destination. Anytime hanging out in the airport, in between flights, if there's ever a delay when you get to the airport, we're not getting paid for that time. During boarding, during deplaning, we're not getting paid for that time. Trust me, when I say flight attendants also do not like delays, we really don't.
No! God, please, no! No! No!
Because oftentimes we'll be stuck sitting there in the airport, waiting around, and we're not getting paid. Yeah, we're not getting paid, so it's not fun for us either. And yeah, we just kind of have to like sit there and hang out in the airport. It's also, fun fact, a lot of times we don't know the reason for delays either. If it's weather, I mean, yeah, usually it's obvious. Or if you look it up on a radar, even if it's not the weather where you are, it could be where you're going or in between. People don't ever think about that. And I'm like, bruh, look at the radar, look up the weather. One other plus side about the pay is that for every hour that you are away from base and you start a trip, you do get per diem hours. That's a good thing, but it is every hour that you are away from base. That's why I do 4-day trips, because I'm gone from base for like, it could be 76 hours. I'm just making up a random number. But 76 hours of the hourly rate of per diem, therefore you make more moolah. We get commission from credit cards. Not always that easy to sell, but that is another bonus. Yeah, like I said, every year after we pass our recurrent training, you get a raise. My next topic. This is always a fun one to explain to people. Oh, I hear it all the time. Oh, flight attendants. Oh, you're like a glorified waitress, or waitress in the sky, glorified bartender, whatever. Yeah, we serve drinks and snacks on the plane, but what people don't know is that the entirety of training is not about serving, like, at all. I think they spent like a few hours, like 2 hours, maybe 3, one day out of an entire month about going through the aisle with the service card, your positions, and serving drinks. The rest is like straightforward, you'll figure it out when you start. Yeah, no. Every company is different with this as well. You don't have to go to school to become a flight attendant. The company will put you in its own training. My training was a whole month. They put us up in a hotel with a roommate for the entire month by their headquarters, and it was Monday through Saturday, early in the morning till evening-ish, like long days, like I'm talking long days. And it was probably one of the most stressful months of my entire life. It wasn't crazy hard, but it was just stressful because there was so much that you had to learn in a set amount of time, and there was exams and all kinds of stuff. Just about everything that you learn in training is safety, security, and emergency procedures. Oh, and a little bit of first aid. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but there's like a lake in our neighborhood in the backyard, and someone's racing their tiny little speedboat. So random. Anyways, we're basically called safety professionals. That's like really annoying. Seriously? Like, yo, I'm trying to film. Anyways, yeah, everything is about safety, security, emergency procedures, first aid. So we have to be trained how to handle just about any type of situation that can happen while in the air or in the plane, whether you're taxiing at the gate. Emergencies do happen. It's not something very common, but they do happen, and they have happened to me. Fortunately for me, none of the emergencies that I have had have been very crazy severe, but they do happen, and it's like when they happen like that, I know exactly what to do, exactly how to handle it. We can handle anything from like someone feeling dehydrated to having to do CPR or use an AED on someone. Kind of scary to think about, but your girl is ready for whatever. Oh, another thing that I am going to talk about, which is probably one of the best aspects of the job, besides, you know, having the freedom and the flexibility, we as flight attendants get to fly for free. Let me just say that again. Fly for free. Oh, almost makes me want to cry. How it works is that the airline that you work for will have a cabin agreement with other airlines. I, for example, can fly the airline that I work for free. I can fly on other airlines that we have cabin agreements with for free domestically. And then if it's international, because we do have cabin agreements with a lot of different international airlines as well, all we have to do is pay for the taxes.
Oh my God! Wow!
It's pretty freaking awesome. That's like one of the big reasons that people usually want to become a flight attendant. If you like to travel, like, this is a good job for you. I never get sick of being on a plane. I never get sick of flying. Like, I actually love the whole process of traveling itself. It kind of sounds weird, but it's very like soothing and calming to me. I don't know, I'm different, I'm weird maybe, I don't know, but I could not sit in an office every day of the week and do the same thing or stare at a computer all day. No, I would lose my mind. Every day is different on my job, and I love it. We also have passes that we can give out. We have a set amount that we get each year, and we can give them out to anyone that we want for a small fee of $15 one way. That's something that's really cool, but we only get a set amount per year. Once you use them all, that's it. You have to wait till the next year starts. Also, for example, my mom and my dad, they can fly for free on the airline that I work for, and then other domestic airlines at a cheaper price than the average person. So that's also a cool perk. If I were to get married or have kids, it would be the same. And then I get one travel companion that I get to list as well, and it's almost the same as me, a little bit different, but it's kind of like my parents' benefits as well. So that's really cool. Definitely one of the best parts about the job. There's a lot of things I love about the job, but that is like, ask any flight attendant, that's like the first thing they'll say. I'm just gonna list off a couple other topics and not go too into detail because I can't have this video be too long. One of the other things that's interesting is because you get to build your schedule how you want, and when you're on reserve and trips are always changing, things like that, just about every single time that you work a trip, you are flying with different people. You have to be able to get along with just about anybody. That's also interesting and can be fun, and also can be a bit stressful at times. You gotta be able to handle just about anything. People ask if the company pays for my food while I'm traveling, and they do not. So what I do is I have a travel cooler and I meal prep for all of my trips. I look at my schedule, see how long my days are, that type of thing, if I get free breakfast in the hotel or not, and then from there I plan out my meals and I cook them. It helps a lot because eating out all the time costs way too much money, it's unhealthy, and I like to eat really healthy. And with a lot of flight attendant jobs, not every company does, but a lot of companies, they do have a union for their flight attendants and their pilots, and you have a contract that everything has to go by based on like how many hours you are allowed to fly, how many hours you're allowed to work during a typical work day, because it's different. It's also in line with the FAA and the rules and regulations they have. Speaking of planes, there's like a private tiny little airport neighborhood nearby. That's why you guys heard the plane flying overhead. Kind of ironic. We have a contract, and our schedules and lots of different aspects of the job have to follow the contract as well. So it's also good to know your contract, because sometimes things happen where it could violate it and you have to be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm not legal to work this trip. You gotta take me off. I think that's everything that I wanted to talk about. If I think of anything else, maybe I'll do like a part 2 video. Also, side note, the sun is going down and it looks like it's gonna storm soon. So all of the natural lighting that I was using to film this is like disappearing really fast. If any of you guys have any questions, feel free to ask below in the comments. I reply to all of them. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for more videos. I am trying to come out with videos once a week. If you would like this video, give it a thumbs up. Also, be sure to follow me on Instagram at cassthenomad. I am really active on Instagram. That is where I post my photography and my everyday random adventures. I just want to say thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a great start to your week, and I will see you in the next vlog.